Welcome to the Dead Pixel Society podcast, the photo imaging industry's leading news source. Here's your host, Gary Pageau. The Dead Pixel Society podcast is brought to you by MediaClip, Advertech Printing, and School Photographers of America.
Hello again, and welcome to the Dead Pixel Society podcast. I'm your host, Gary Pageau, and today we're joined by David Crandall, the Executive Director of the School Photographers of America. Hi, David. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, Gary. How are you?
I'm doing great. So you're a returning guest, but a lot has changed since you and Tim were on last year about SPOA. For those who don't know, can you talk a little bit about what SPOA is as an industry association, the mission that it has?
Sure. So SPOA was really, when you sit back and you go into history and you think of organizations similar, but not much different, but similar to a PSPA, Professional School Photographers of America. So a trade association dedicated to the industry of school photography, volume photography, sports photography, and yearbooks. And so our mission at SPOA is to educate, advocate, promote, protect, preserve the great traditions of school photography and yearbooks. And so, when you think about those words, educate, advocate, promote, protect, preserve, that's really, it sounds pretty easy, but those are some broad-based, adjectives to really describe what it is that we're doing for the industry. And when we say the word educate, we're talking about not where your light goes. We're talking, but that's a part of it, is helping, but really to educate the proper ways of doing school and sports photography and yearbooks, the appropriate way, standards and guidelines to, what insurance you should have to be able to get into the school business, and like how you, giving guidance on what's the difference in legal, having our partner attorneys and law firms give advice on, you should consider whether you should be an LLC or an S Corp or C Corp, and what type of taxation that comes with. So much deeper than just, hey, put your light here and this is where your shutter speed and f-stop should be. It's more encompassed on how do you build your business appropriately? How do you scale it successfully? Because in this industry, we've seen it year over year for generations. If someone comes in and starts a company that doesn't have that knowledge, or was given bad information, and they pick up a school because of whatever reason, and all of a sudden it goes really bad. Like, it goes really, really bad. They got the wrong lab, they got the wrong software. It takes 12 weeks to get the pictures back to the school. They end up losing that school. The downside is the company that picks it back up, all participation drops because parents lose faith in the industry. And that's what we don't want. We want to make sure that we equip everybody with resources and tools to be successful. And so that's really what SPOA stands for.
And at this time, there's a lot of interest in the category. I mean, I think with some of the macro things happening, with some of the larger players, there's a lot of buzz in the industry about people wanting to get into the business, who may be in another segment of photography, like wedding or portrait, or they're a sports photographer and they want to add schools, or vice versa. You've recently launched a boot camp for people who want to get into the business. Can you talk about that sort of hybrid model? Because it's online, but it's also in person.
Yeah, we're really excited about this. It was conceptually brought up by 3 of our existing members that have grown their business and done very well, but they're just missing some of those elements. And maybe they set up the business as a sole proprietor and didn't realize, man, there's some taxes, there's some legal pieces. From a marketing, they did a free website and they didn't understand the different options in building a website and programs that are out there. And then they saw one software or production flow partner, and they didn't see everybody else. And so the goal of this boot camp is, number one, to be free. It's free.
For members.
for members. So there's obviously a cost. The cost is becoming a member, and the cost is coming to the conference. And so if you're a member and you're coming to the conference, you're going to get there's some virtual, so it's a hybrid model. And so it starts this month. Actually, the end of this month is going to be the first training, and it goes each month leading up to the conference. And then in person, there's going to be a lot of we're actually having 4 different large volume companies that they're not afraid to share. This is their lighting and this is how they run their picture days. It's kind of like we so often in this industry, we're like, we got to be close guarded and not tell everybody. And it's like, it's nothing more than, when you think of sports, right? A football team comes to a game. The University of Alabama comes to play Clemson in a national championship. There's nothing really to hide. At the end of the day, you're going to run your offense, you're going to run your defense. It's how you execute, right? And so most companies of significant size, they're not afraid to show everybody, this is how we do things. It's like, good luck if you can emulate it, right? And so, but it's going to give people a different perspective on how to do things, instead of just having one company share their way by having 4 or 5. I mean, in April, we actually are giving every software company that's either a business member or a partner. Well, you got to be a member to be a partner, but all of our business partners and or business members that want to give 8 minutes of a presentation, all of our lab partners are going to get the same opportunity. So here's all these brand new companies that are looking for a lab partner and a software. And instead of getting a 1-hour tutorial or 2-hour presentation, we're only giving them 8 minutes. But in that 8 minutes, it's forcing those companies to give an impactful presentation. And so you've got someone sitting back that goes, okay, am I going to make my decision after that? Probably not, but I might narrow it to 2 and then go do my, deep dive into this lab and deep dive into this software. To the extent the same for marketing partners. Where do you buy your flyers? Where do you buy, retouching, and how do you outsource that? What about virtual assistants? And so we're going through every aspect of where to be, including insurance, like what insurances you should have in place. What state documents and filings should you have to be able to make sure if you're wanting to do business with a district, they're going to require those type of documents for you to be a preferred, vendor or business partner. So that's really the nuts and bolts of it. And the beautiful thing is we're going to have for all of those attendees, myself, and I think we have about 7 other board members that have agreed to be on calls in September and October and November. Because when you get into this business, I had somebody once tell me at my days at Life Touch, a guy named Joe Nolson, he said, David, there's a million things that are going to go wrong in this business. And if you're in this business long enough, you'll see all million of them. And anybody that's been in this business knows when you're dealing with schools, parents and kids and districts and just people, there's something new that happens every year. And so the idea is that we're going to be a sounding board and be able to give advice and consultation and help when it's a first time for them dealing with a large high school, a first time dealing with a private school that requires these student data privacy things or whatever the case may be. And so there's volunteer follow-up so that they can always have a sounding board. And there's a lot of great resources out there, but I definitely feel we built this to be robust and not just give one-sided opinion on a software or a lab, but to give a robust, how do you build your business, be successful, and make sure that you are abiding by the standards or doing well if are above the standards of the industry. So it's beneficial for all concerned. So,
and then at the conference, there'll be some in-person education.
Yes.
How will that work with the regular conference schedule? Will people attend?
Absolutely.
Both?
Yeah. So in a nutshell, we have a lot going on. And so we're going to have some other follow-ups, but this is a great opportunity to share that we have a lot going on. We have a lot of business partners that bring a ton of value to the industry. And so our conference is built to remember, educate, advocate, promote, protect, preserve. And so our tracks and everything are going to be built on this. And so the conference truly starts on Tuesday, but we have a lot of pre-conference and we have a lot of early bird type opportunities. And we got one I'm most excited about. So on Monday, that's July the 10th, people would have to fly in on that Sunday. But we are doing, it's called Operation School Smiles. And so if you're a servant, if you have a servant's heart, we are bringing companies all across the country, personnel. We found a school in Greenville County. It's one of the top 50 school districts in the country. And it's one of their challenge schools financially, just the community. And we're going in and we've already met with the principal. It was awesome. And we're doing some projects both inside and outside to help bring color to the school, to help bring just some pride, school pride. We're doing a charity closet. We're calling it a wishing closet. A lot of these kids, struggle to have shoes and underwear and shorts and jeans and jackets. And so we've got labs and companies that are going to volunteer each month. And hey, everybody bring in, whoever would like to donate to the school. And we're going to do that every year. And no matter where we are 2024, 2025, and we're just going to adopt a school. And if we have enough volunteers, we'll adopt 2 schools or 3 schools. What I'm most excited about is the superintendent choose the school for the district. And so they've already communicated with 2 TV stations, and they're going to be doing live broadcasting out there. And so it's going to bring just incredible, just about our industry giving back. And that benefits everybody, whether you're there or not. Right. If you're a part of the industry, that benefits who are school photographers and yearbook companies and the value that brings. And I promise you, when I stand in front of that camera, that's what I'm going to talk about is school photography in yearbooks right now are being cherished and valued probably more than it's been in years. And so when you saw Russia invading Ukraine, what you saw were people jumping on the trains and leaving the country, and they were leaving with pictures, even with albums. The memories we create, especially when people become grandparents, it's just incredible. And so we want to make sure we bring back that nostalgia. And so anyways, Operation School Smiles, and that's going to be Monday morning through Monday afternoon. Then we got our great business partners with ImageQuicks and PhotoLinks, the MVP conference that always happens every year has hundreds in attendance. There's a partner program where you get a huge discount with SPOA if you go to the MVP conference and SPOA together. Right. And so theirs starts Monday morning, runs all day Monday, and finishes up Tuesday morning. And then we have boot camp. Boot camp's going to start Monday afternoon and go pretty much all day Tuesday. And then we have our business partners at Sandler. Sandler is a professional training organization. He has got an incredible. And when I say this, Sandler changed my life when I was 24 years old. And I spent almost $5,000 on a credit card that I couldn't afford to go to a Sandler training. And I was blessed that, 2 years later, I was the #1 sales rep at the largest organization in the country for school pictures. And, Sandler has some incredible training. And so they have 2 tracks. They got now these are paid. These actually cost you money, but they are so deeply discounted. It's unbelievable. So they have a sales training that typically is $4,000 to $6,000. That's, I think, $999 if I'm not mistaken. Right. And it's, even though it's just one day, there's going to be some pre-visits and some post-visits virtually with all the attendees. And then there are with follow-ups, material resources. And then they're also doing an executive leadership. So if you are a company and you've got a supervisor you're trying to bring into, the round table, so to speak, and you really want them to have just a different perspective and be able to bring stuff to the table instead of just always learning from just you and your company. This is an incredible training to be a part of as well. And then last, Dale Carnegie is hosting a customer service training, which I love Dale Carnegie, and Tim does a fantastic job. So that's Monday. And right, the conference doesn't really start till Tuesday, but that's a lot going on Monday. And so Tuesday, again, that MVP group is there, but we also have tracks for HR, people that are really wanting, those are early bird. They don't cost you everything Tuesday, except for MVP does not cost any money. they're a part of the ticket. And so the HR training is going to be held by an outside entity that's going to certify people in just understanding legal questions that you should and shouldn't ask, interview, HR, employment practices, liability, all those things that if you're sitting back going, man, I don't want an employee manual. Not only are they going to help, they'll give you a boilerplate employee manual. So you just fill in the gaps. And so we really want to help companies do this. And what you should be looking for in background checks, those types of things. We're going to have a bunch of panel sessions going on then. And then what I'm really, really excited about is Sony is bringing in an artisan to be one of our keynotes. And so we're really excited to announce who that is here shortly. But they're also going to be doing some Sony photo walks and photo safaris around down Greenville, South Carolina, where you're going to. Yes. Most people probably have not heard of Greenville, South Carolina, especially. But when you see this city, like our board, we had a meeting there in November and everyone's like, really? Greenville? And then they got there and they're like, whoa, man, it is one of the most breathtaking cities in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And it is just breathtaking, gorgeous. The streets are just beautiful. There's restaurants and bars and everything throughout. Right outside, you walk outside the hotel and you're really on Main Street, and it's going to be awesome. But they're going to be doing a photo safari. And the best part is you can bring your own equipment, but they're going to bring all of their equipment, and you can just show your driver's license, and you're going to be able to get, if you want to play with the new Sony R, man, it's awesome. It's an incredible camera. And so they're going to let you check it out. And then that way you're getting to experience what that's going to be like. Sony is also bringing in their R&D department. I don't want to give away too much, but if you're really interested in where cameras are going in the future and the technology that Sony is bringing to this industry specifically, you'll want to be a part of that afternoon session before the exhibit hall opens. And then it's our exhibit hall trade show that opens up. Originally, we were going to open up, I think, at 3 that afternoon. I do believe we're opening up much earlier now. We haven't finalized that, but we've got a lot of exhibitors and business partners and super excited about that trade show, the opportunities to listen to presentations and sessions. Then it kicks off that evening, I believe, either at 6:30 or 7 o'clock with our SPOA first time welcome party. We are going all out with our good friends at Photo Merchant are helping us sponsor this, and you are not going to want to miss this dinner.
Well, you know how the Australians are. So.
It's going to be a party like no other. I'll tell you that. So we're really excited about that. And then very easily that Wednesday, for everybody that's an attendee, the trade show opens up with breakfast and everything. The exhibit hall stays open until about 1. There are sessions starting that morning. We left really big breaks so people could still go back into the exhibit hall. And all the food's going to be served there. So we want everybody in with our business partners. But the tracks are this: HR, marketing, sales, leadership, photography, and finance. And so can you switch? Absolutely. You can see a session you want to be in, and absolutely. But if you're bringing people, a lot of companies are bringing teams of people. And so they're going into those tracks.
Right.
And so there's going to be 4 sessions throughout that day. They're an hour and 15 minutes long. And it's going to be, these are outside professionals that are coming in, the Dale Carnegies of the world, Sandlers of the world, HR companies, but we are having panelists as well. One that I know we have is a panel on how to scale your business. Right. And when y'all see the lineup of these panelists, these are companies and, Matthew Kimmett Mueller, people have seen their company just blow up the last 2-3 years. And so there's a lot of insight to that. And then that evening, it's on your own, a lot of VIP receptions that evening. And again, that downtown area, if you're bringing your family, kids, it is just one of the coolest cities you'll ever be in. And so there's tons of walking restaurants and everything. We're really excited. And then Thursday is the big day. Thursdays are our kickoff, our keynotes. And we cap it out that evening with the industry awards banquet. And we're really excited this year, not only just the National Photographic Awards, we have yearbook awards this year, operations awards, those rising star obviously our president's award, our chairman's award, and then we're capping for the first time, I believe in our industry for a long time. We're capping off the evening with the first ever and annual School Photography and Yearbook Industry Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And so those Hall of Famers, we have a committee. We're going to be launching actually this Thursday, we're meeting for the first time. They're reviewing all the documents that people would fill out, nominees for that form. And our plan is to announce those Hall of Fame finalists. And so when you sit back, Hall of Fame could be an industry writer. It could be an industry icon that helped start the industry. And I always mess this up posthumously.
Yeah.
Somebody that is, unfortunately
no longer with us.
Right. And so, but it's also industry partners, people that maybe wrote software that radically changed this industry, people that built equipment, those types of things. So we want to honor everyone, the companies that made the most impact on yearbooks and the trends that yearbooks are today. So we're really, really, really excited about that. We have 9 people on that committee. So thank heavens we have a tiebreaker if it comes down. We're not
now,
married.
will only one person be inducted, or is this for instance you're launching it? Are there going to be more than one? Or
the plan at this point, I think, is you don't know what you don't know, right? And so the plan is that ideally it would be 3 to maybe 6 people the first year,
right?
And then whatever makes sense the following year. Maybe it's 4, maybe it's 5. We don't know, and we're very open to people's feedback on that. And so, but we're really excited what this will mean, and to be able to honor the people that made an impact on this industry that, a lot of people may not know their story, and there's a lot of people that they do know their story, and this person really should be in the Hall of Fame. So really excited about that. Again, we have a ton going on with that conference, and Gary, excited to have you there. So,
well, I was there last year for the launch, and it was a great event. One thing I want to bring up is you are holding elections at the event. Talk a little bit about that process, because as an association, I think it's a little different for people on the outside to look in that, there's an elected board who sets policy, provides guidance. This isn't just David Crandall deciding what he wants to do this week. So, talk a little bit about the election process and what will happen. I believe it's Tuesday at the elections.
Yeah. So you have 2 boards, the governing board and the executive board. There's a certain number of chairs or positions that are open. I believe it's 2 on the governing board, and it's 6 or 7 or 8 on the executive board. I can't remember off the top of my head right this second. We had applications out for almost 2 months. We've got a lot of people that have applied. Let's just say a lot more than what's there. This week, actually, this afternoon, my intent is to set meetings with each one of the people, talk to them, make sure that this is what they want to do. They understand everything that is expected of that role, that volunteer role, and all that kind of stuff. And do they want to put their names in the hat for other chairs? All right. And so once that happens, they're going to go on a ballot, and we're going to have 2 webinars where each one of them get 3 minutes just to share about them and why they want to run for whatever seats or positions. Someone could very easily go, hey, I want to be on the governing board, but I'm also open to being on the executive board for this chair. And so anyways, long story short, we're really excited about that. And so what happens is when people arrive on Monday and Tuesday, Monday afternoon and Tuesday morning through 1:00 in the afternoon, there will be an election site. I want to say it's in the Azalea room, like we already know it. And there will be an opportunity. Each company, when you became a member of SPOA, you designated a person to be the main person to vote. You get 1 vote. So that's the beauty of this. You're not having one company that has 10 votes or 13 votes. Every company only gets 1 vote. And so what we're going to do is scrub against the person's name. And let's say somebody comes up and, Gary, you walk in and you're a member of so-and-so company, but your name's not on there. We're going to either call that person, or we're going to require the person that was on that name to email us saying, here's the person voting.
Right.
We're going to verify with a driver's license, and that person puts in their votes for governing board, the votes for executive board, and then we're going to tally that up. It's a computer system. And it's going to be verified by the entire officers of the board. And so the officers are the chairman, the treasurer-elect, the vice president-elect, the vice president, and president. So that's 6 plus myself. So that makes it 7. And so we'll all open up, verified everybody that voted and what the total results are, so that everybody sees it all at the same time, Tuesday midday. And then at that point, we'll make the announcements on stage that Thursday who the new elected officials are. And so we're really excited. The officers of the organization, we just had board elections, and so we elect who the officers are. And so Eric Snyder Jr. was voted on unanimously to be the treasurer-elect, which means 6 years from now, he'll be the chairman of the board. And then on the executive board, a very good guy that I'm super excited about, Mr. Mark Homerding, was unanimously elected to be vice president-elect. And so really excited about Mark, really excited about Eric and what they bring to the table. That's how the elections are going to work. And those people immediately take within a 2-month transition right after the conference of rolling into that role. And I know the people, the chairs have already agreed to be on their committee and answer any questions that they have. So we're really, really excited about that.
I guess where I was going with that was it's a very public process.
Oh, yeah, it has to be.
I mean, I just think it's even with some of the other photography associations out there, I'm not sure how PPA elects their people, for example, but I always thought it was cool that you guys from the beginning were very upfront. This is, if you want to be involved, it's very easy to do. And this is the process.
It was funny. I was at another conference and someone said, man, y'all losing a lot of your board members. I'm like, no, we're not. I'm like, it's an elected process. Like that way, there's always you have brand new blood coming in that have a passion and want to serve for a purpose. That's why I love the way our founders and myself help build the bylaws so that there's not stagnation supposedly, or the same, and that there's new blood coming in and really just always trying to be better, trying to help the industry in a different way, and people that want to serve. And so I'm really excited when y'all see the candidates, man. I'm so excited. I'm almost giddy, Gary. I'm almost giddy.
I can sense the giddiness almost as much as when you dropped Clemson in as the name drop earlier.
Exactly. I had to. No, and man, we have so much stuff going on. I mean, I look at, this past year we're really starting to get into like bring in membership value, right? And so you pay a monthly fee, and what do you get out of that? And so we're bringing a lot of value, much less what you're doing for the industry. A lot of people in their right mind, I joined because it's the right thing to do. We're lobbying for best practices and make sure no state or federal legislation, mitigate or do anything to harm our industry in any way, shape, or form. But we all know it happens. It's kind of like that Illinois law on student data privacy. They made a law that stated after 3 years you have to purge all your records, and so that's a state law that impedes federal law. But no one at that time, we weren't advocating at that state legislative level that, hey, as you're working on laws like this, remember that school photographers have a government federal protected copyright law that protects that data with that image, Mary. Right. And so, that's one of the things that we're focused on doing, and getting letters out and making sure that we're lobbying and advocating for stuff like that. But we're looking at other things like national partnerships. Man, we did a national partnership with, it's called Checker. It's a background check company. Yep. And man, we had over a dozen companies save over $10,000 a year on background checks just by that partnership. Let me tell you, they basically paid money to SPOA for membership to get money back. Right. Yeah. SPOA didn't cost them anything. If anything, by joining SPOA, they made money. And what I'm really, really stoked about is the national shipping contract. And so we've got a boatload of some of the biggest companies in the country and labs that have united and said, hey, we don't really compete in this arena. Who cares? If we can all reduce cost, that's good for everybody.
Right.
And so we're in the process now of negotiating a national partnership and discount with either FedEx or UPS. And man, you're talking, some of the biggest companies in the country with the millions that they spend on shipping or labs.
Mm-hmm.
If you reduce that by 15%, that's a lot of money. I mean, that's
that goes straight to your bottom line.
That's straight to your bottom line. That's payroll, man. And so at the end of the day, these are really good things that we're working on. We're doing the same thing we're getting ready to buy a national database of schools. And so some companies buy at their own state level or maybe 2 states. And by being a member, you're going to get that stuff. And so we're really pumped about all those things and the value, the trainings that we're already doing.
And as far as advocacy, you've been going out to some educator conferences.
Yep. Yeah, was just in San Antonio at the superintendent's conference. And,
so some people would say, what is the point of that?
Sure. Here's a great point for that one. 2 points. One, we're making them aware about our new foundation. And so the foundation that we launched it this past year, but we're very excited. IRS says we should have our 501c3 by the end of this month. And so then it'll be a big launch, but the idea is a one industry give back. There's so many displaced and homeless students in America, and those kids almost never get the opportunity to get a yearbook or pictures. And so what we're going to be doing is raising money and to be able to purchase those for those kids. And so we were recruiting superintendents there. Very excited that we've got enough superintendents that want to be on that board. And then we were really advocating. A lot of superintendents stop by and go, you know what? I'm unhappy with who I'm using. And so can y'all guide me in are there other options? And we're like, oh yeah, absolutely. And well, their first question is, who should I use? And I'm like, man, I'm Switzerland. They're all great. That's where. Well, what I'm going to give you is a resource, and you can go to our website and find a school photographer, and it's going to give you a list by your state of all the options you have. And that way you can put a director of purchasing or someone on it to start to investigate. But there's a lot of photographers, they'll drive 2 or 3 hours to come photograph your district. And so maybe you didn't realize you had opportunity, but now you do. And so there's a lot of our independent and I will say regional and national companies that love us being there because we're giving everybody representation. But their name obviously is coming up, especially if they're regional and national in almost all the states. And maybe they did not, they weren't top of mind of that superintendent, but now that they are. And so, and also there to educate. I'm speaking at the upcoming International Association of School Business Officers about bids and RFPs and how to make them non-subjective, right? There's a lot of language. I mean, there's still language that was written very specifically either by a specific company or was written because it's brand names, right, of ID cards or whatever the case may be, or it's written in the sense of that it must be on premium Kodak paper. Well, and it's those type of things that we want to just kind of bring to. There's been an update in the industry, technology that they still use, and then really I'm speaking at a district next week, one of the top 25 largest school districts top 25 school district, about why would you specifically have companies say what packages they must sell? That was like school photographers coming to you telling you what curriculum you should teach.
Right.
Let companies come together and present what they believe is the best option. And we'll share with you, what I'm really excited about. There's something called the industry report, the national survey. I pray everybody in this industry is sending out in some capacity because that gives unbiased feedback, right? It's literally, it's not about one company and their software. It's literally just a generic national survey that tells industry trends, both regionally and nationally. And so one of the things that I was on the phone with James from Photo Merchant, and I'm like, man, what we really need for next year is a educator one. And so we're going to create this summer a very specific educator report that says, here's what moms want. Here's how they want to be marketed to. Here's what they want to buy. And all of that is, when they're having packages loaded up with exchanges and wallets, when you can't even buy a wallet today that even has those billfold plastic sleeves.
Right.
Why are you selling? And so we're really excited about that education and that kind of that promotion aspect that we're having at these types of education associations. I'll be out at JEA in San Francisco in a month, and I'll be out in JEA and SPA in Boston this coming fall. And we're doing roundtable groups with high school yearbook advisors, with students. Sony's being a huge advocate and partner in that. And those are things that just help our industry, the brand awareness, possible internship programs where college yearbook staff could turn around and maybe do an internship with your organization. As soon as they graduate, you got a brand new photographer that could be service and sales and everything else. So a lot of opportunities in that aspect.
So you've done a huge download of information, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Where should someone go for more information to either learn about SPOA and become more involved with the association?
Yeah, man, love you for saying that. Thank you. At the end of the day, you want to go to schoolphotographersamerica.com or schooltraditions.org. Both URLs take you to the same, but schoolphotographersamerica.com is long. Sounded great when we did it.
It's a lot of typing.
It's a lot of SPOA's already taken. It's like the San Diego Police Department Association. So the schoolphotographersamerica.com gives you, you can easily see how to join, what the conference is about. You can register, you can buy tickets. It's got all the hotel information, all of that stuff there. You can also see what we're doing from the only thing that's not loaded. Our website has gone through a massive change the last 4 weeks. We've changed everything up. So it's kind of resources for schools. Gary, we found out we were getting hit 1,800 hits a week. And out of that, over 875, if y'all know what a heat map is, it tells you where people are coming on your website. And it's going to find a school photographer. So what we realized is, man, schools are really using that. And so what that does for companies' SEOs is huge, right? And anyways, now we're starting to build in like a sample RFP or bid or a sample, or, here we're getting ready to start a webinar training series for educators. Right. We did one last year on bids and RFPs and had I want to say 48 school districts that joined. And so if you saw the names of those, there were some big school districts. And so that's some awesome stuff. We're trying to be, again, I don't mean to demean that when I say that, but we're trying to be even keel. I use the word Switzerland because they're kind of famous for that, but we want to be the center and not lean one way or the other. We just want to bring truth to them, and then make sure that everyone, that is getting into this industry has the tools and resources they need to be successful. And so there's a lot of resources on there as well on the website. And my personal contact, I put my personal cell phone. I don't care. At the end of the day, like, man, my job is to work for the members. And so it's 615-924-4780. I'll say right here. And David C. at schoolphotographersamerica.com. And so we love to reach out, love to help in any way, shape, or form. And, that's my job, and I'm sticking to it.
And once again, the dates of that conference are July 10th through the 13th in Greenville, South Carolina.
10th through 14th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And looking forward to seeing you in Greenville. And
yeah, man.
And thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
Awesome, Gary. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Dead Pixel Society podcast. Read more great stories and sign up for the newsletter at www.thedeadpixelssociety.com.